possible for you to get funding for a grant writer, but very rarely can you get grant funding for a grant writer. So it's better to try to develop that in-house. However, for some of the larger grants, like the RWM grant, or if any of you are doing Energy Commission grants or more technical grants, or infrastructure grants, you probably will have to get technical assistance for it. So here's a little secret, it's a tip, a grant writing tip for technical grants. And I did this for the Mariposa RWM planning grant. The DWR is always late on their application, on the deadline. They always extend it a month, 2 months, 3 months. So what we did there is writing those planning grant applications, that was pretty technical. And we wanted to get an engineering firm to assist us. So what we did is we did the RFP before the grant application was due. We did an RFP for the firm that would implement the grant if we got it. So what we did is we put out an RFP for somebody to do the RWM plan. And it was the county who did it. It was the county who did it, but it was done, all the requirements of RFPs were met. Engineering firm was selected. And part of the criteria for selecting the firm was how much help are you going to give us writing this grant? And they went ahead, basically wrote most of the grant.
That's a very interesting approach.
Yeah, I think that actually it works really well because most of these larger firms have what they call marketing dollars. They're not going to help you write a grant if you just go, oh, if we get the grant, you'll be, part of the group that gets the RFP and maybe you'll get it, But if they know if that grant is obtained, they'll have a contract for $1 million. They've got funding that's part of their budget to do things like write proposals and write grants. So, I don't know what the situation is up there with consulting firms, and we have a hard time getting them up there, but that's a reliable trick for the larger, more technical grants. For the smaller grants, and I count a Sierra Nevada Conservancy grant and a lot of the state grant funds that are coming out now, you are capable of writing them. I mean, obviously, you have to be fairly comfortable with writing, but it's not rocket science. And I think the grant writing workshop would really help you with that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So the final thing that you talked about was grant management and administration. So all grants, not all grants, but most grants provide some funding for overhead, indirect grant administration. They call it different things. Some of them, it's often divided into project management and grant administration. And the grant administration is often kind of combined with overhead or indirect. They have different names for it. But a project manager, somebody to oversee whatever fuel reduction, watershed restoration project, that is fully funded by a grant. The question is, do you have people that can administer the grant given whatever limits there are on the amount of admin funds? So with the Sierra Nevada Conservancy, I actually don't even know what it is. With CAL FIRE grants, it's 12%, and that's probably pretty similar with Sierra Nevada Conservancy. There's something called an indirect cost, a negotiated indirect rate. You use these for federal grants. You can also do something similar for state grants where you actually just figure out how much is it going to cost you with your indirect and your admin and your bookkeeper and office expenses and all that, and you figure it out, and you figure out all of your activities and take whatever percentage this grant represents, and you kind of present that as this is our indirect cost ratio, our indirect cost rate, and some grants allow you to do that kind of negotiation, so you could get a higher one, 15, 20%, but that's a lot of work. So the question then is with if you've got $1 million grant, $120,000, that goes pretty far towards managing, towards grant admin. It may be a 2 or 3 year grant, but even so, you know. And other than that, I'm very, as I told you earlier, the Sierra Nevada Conservancy has recommended that we have some funding from Prop 68 set aside for capacity building. I do not know, nobody knows what form that's going to be yet. But one of the recommendations I've given is somebody to assist, for instance, resource conservation districts, or it could even be regional water management, could be other districts, could be whatever entities are getting grants, in setting up accounting systems for their grants, basically doing a management audit. And this is how you set it up so that you make sure that things are done properly, and then to be available to provide sort of assistance until the groups basically learn how to do it well themselves. So that's a recommendation I'm going to make, but there is no guarantee that they're going to take that. I've also made many other recommendations. So we don't know for sure what they're going to do for that, but I like hearing what the capacity building challenges are, because that's one of the areas that I really insert myself in the Sierra Nevada Conservancy operations. And, you know, if you guys just want to write something up, what your issues or problems are, and send it to me, I will make sure that that's communicated to the SMC management.
Well, one of the things that I've observed probably through my LAFCO affiliation is that a lot of our, for instance, special districts are almost completely run by volunteers and literally don't have the funding to have staff sitting in their office even part-time, or if they do have staff, it is part-time. And mostly to answer correspondence and answer the phone. So,
yeah, okay, so here's another tip, which is the entity for which the grant is received. I don't think that was very grammatic, but you can get these things called fiscal agents. So if there's an entity, a resource conservation district, a fire safety council, even the county, that has more capacity, then they can be the applicant for the grant, and they're called a fiscal agent. So if you have a water district, community services district, that is looking to get a project to upgrade their wastewater treatment system, whatever, the county could be the applicant for that. And then the county can charge like 5 or 10% to be the fiscal agent, plus they get the management, plus they get the project management. So they get the fiscal agent fee, they get grant administration fees, and they get project management fees. And I think that this is appropriate in rural areas where there are a lot of entities that are run by volunteers. And you have to have somebody with capacity to manage a grant. If they're, you can get into trouble. If your board doesn't have the capacity to oversee, look at the invoicing and the grant management, and I've heard some stories that are pretty bad, like, where an entity took an advance for one grant and spent it for something else because they thought they were going to get paid for that other thing, and then they could put the money back in the account, and they didn't get paid for it, and that's a huge mess. And the other one was an entity had a for-profit contractor that was going to do the work, and they had that for-profit contractor administer the grant as well as doing the work. So that for-profit contractor was basically reviewing their own invoices. That's not okay.
right.
Yeah. So, so you have to find somebody with some capacity that you have to make sure that you're doing things properly, because if you don't, you get into trouble, and once you're in trouble, it's very hard to get out of it. Number one, and number two, you get a reputation. And these funding area agencies, they talk to each other, so you don't want that to happen. So in terms of grant administration, I look at fiscal agencies, fiscal agents. I'd like to hear again sort of what if you write up something which if you need, that would be helpful.
Okay, we'll work on that. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is how often do you see, for instance, a special district or a smaller group contract with a nonprofit to be their grant administrator?
Yeah, that's absolutely
pretty
fine.
common, I think.
Yeah, they can do that, and you have to make sure that everybody's eligible in terms of the grant. All the grant guidelines are different. And then, if you have a question about this, call the program officer, call the agency, and say this is what we want to do. And usually they will be able to help you.
Sounds good.
And as I said before, the other option is if you have a special district that's doing a particular project that's only relevant to that district, then you have to look at things like contracting or fiscal agent. But in a lot of cases, particularly for watershed work, you develop partnerships or collaboration. And you may find within that partnership that there's an entity that's appropriate to apply for the grant. So take the CAL FIRE Forest Health Grant that's coming up. It's due in January. It's for the larger landscape scale projects, greenhouse gas reduction, forest management, pest management, biomass utilization, etc. So I've worked on several of those. Some of them, the Sierra Nevada Conservancy was the applicant for one of them. Forest, so the Tahoe National Forest. There are groups called foundations or nonprofits, the National Forest Foundation, the American Rivers Conservancy, the Nature Conservancy. I mean, these are all larger groups that when they have a concern over an area, can actually act as the applicant. They have more capacity, they have more staff, and they get enough money to do that. That's
Okay.
another option.
Anybody have any questions for Melissa while she's on the phone? Yeah, Leah.
At our last meeting, this is directed at you, because we talked to Roger about the Plymouth County Community Development Commission being able to act in that capacity for us,
Yeah.
especially on behalf of water and sewer special districts. And have you heard anything here that scares you off, or?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Roger and I have actually been talking about a lot, and we're really interested in doing that because we do have the capacity, and I'm actually about to attend Alyssa's grant writing course in
Good for
January.
you.
And between Roger and me, because we're both attorneys with some grant writing training too, I think that we'll have the capacity to, do grant writing for other people.
You're both attorneys?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's my background too. I used to be an attorney. It's a really good background to be a grant writer.
Right, so Roger and I, on behalf of PCCDC, are very interested in being able to administer grants for, different organizations where we're permitted to as a government agency.
And then I have one more question. It used to be in the old days, the HUD days, that you would also help with Sierra County. We never really talked to Butte, but until Doug came on, and we could probably have that conversation, but you kind of went over the line in the region to help out. Are you more constrained now to Plymouth County, or is that a case-by-case question, or?
I think it depends on whose toes feel stepped on.
Like somebody else would like to go write the grant?
If someone would like to, there's a lot of gray area there because we also operate the Community Action Agency, which does operate in Lassen and Sierra County too.
Okay.
So if we're wearing that hat, we have a lot more latitude to go to different regions.
Okay.
But it's going to have to be a case-by-case analysis to make sure we're not elbowing anyone out.
Okay.
In case there's a lot of people in this rural area really angling to write grants and manage them.
That hasn't been our
problem.
experience up to now.
That's why we're
Randy?
asking.
Russell, you're with Feather River RCD. Do you guys have a grant writer?
Brad, do we have a grant writer? We have somebody who's capable of writing grants but doesn't have the time to do it right now.
We have somebody that's capable of writing grants, but doesn't have time to do it.
So where I'm going with, could community development take that role on for the Feather River RCD or the Sierra Valley Groundwater Management District? I don't know that question. Because this has been a problem that I've seen since I've been involved in this, is I don't have any capacity in my shop to have a grant writer to write grants and do the administration. And when Roger said, I'm interested, I went, this is great, maybe this could happen, but I'm with Sherry. I don't see the capacity in the special districts or the organizations around here to write, get the grant, and administer it properly. And so I'm kind of pushing on community development on this to see how much they, because I see a real opportunity with a number of grants sitting out there, but I'm not seeing the capacity to really take it on.
Right, and I mean, I still need to take a little more training, but I'm sure that with my education experience, I could write simple grants like Alyssa's talking about, not necessarily very complicated technical
Could you
ones.
write and manage those for, say, a project for Russell in the Feather River RCD?
We can. I couldn't say we can do it for 20 entities right now, but we're definitely very capable of taking on several at this time.
So then, I
And
guess what I'm
yeah,
going is, there's an
especially-
opportunity for your organization to
Right.
build its capacity to help everybody
Well,
else.
and I can speak to Brad, but I think we would have the capacity to oversee something like, but not necessarily do the work. And so if there was some technical advice or whatever the case is, I'm sure we could provide that to help, because you might not have the background of forest health, for example,
Right.
that somebody else on RCD could, and then they could kind of coordinate with you, but not necessarily. Is that fair to say, Brad? That was a yes from our executive director.
Right, and my agency, we're very accustomed to filling out all the tedious forms and answering seemingly inane questions for various levels of government agencies. So it's not as difficult for us to figure out or learn a new program as it might be for, another entity that isn't so accustomed to working with so many arms of the government.
The other beauty of that partnership is that 2 of her governing board members are sitting here.
I know, that's why I'm
Yeah.
laughing.
That's why we're bringing it up today.
Being a little devil's advocate here, but, Lee and I discussed it, Roger's discussed it with me, and it's, okay, what can we do, shovel ready, but we were looking at special districts, but I was looking at the Feather River RCD website the other day, and it reminded me that, there's a lot of things, a lot of entities out there, and what are they doing, and how can this whole effort help them? And so it circles back to community development. I don't have the capacity in my shop. I mean, if I had a staff person, in planning department, water planning, but it's not possible for that to happen.
Yeah, and we do have that capacity, and especially as, we build that and we're more available and get more experience doing that for different entities. If we have more admin money coming in or project management coming in, we could potentially even hire more people or give more hours to some of our existing staff. So, it works very well for us too, because a lot of our funding is based on HUD, which is a fairly unreliable source. So Roger and I are looking for, other ways to, create and foster a sustainable agency and also a community.
And Roger has briefed the governing board on these efforts at each of our meetings, and everybody's been 100% in support of looking at taking on some of this. So
Right, it's part of our
I think we
larger
may
plan.
have a working solution for some of the.
Make sure you get her card, Russell, before you leave.
Got it.
And the tribal,
I know where their office is.
the tribal efforts that we've been working on too, it's the same thing, the need for capacity. And we are willing and want to partner with projects and potentially bring in other sources of funding that are available to tribal partnerships. But we also need that capacity. So I met with Roger and we've had these conversations. So our community, at least the ones I've talked with, are fully supportive of that also.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, if there's nothing more for Alyssa, I think we can probably let her go.
Well,
So-
actually, I do have another area that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Okay,
So,
fire away.
but we don't have to talk about it, but I did prepare funding notes on your project priorities. And I think that was included in your meeting material.
It's actually under agenda item 4. It's an attachment to that agenda item.
What page is that?
That's on page 27 of your packet.
So this is personalized math assistance, so I don't want you guys to skip over it. So what I did is you've got a list here of your project priorities. And, you know, I've been involved in IRWM for a long, long time. I was involved with Madera counties, writing Madera counties, or grant for Madera counties, IRWM plan. Gosh, what was that, like 2003? I mean, a long time. And well, I know that initially we thought of IRWM as this huge pot of gold that we were going to all be able to get a lot of money from. And it has really dwindled in importance to the point where right now we're talking about the entire Mountain County region having 4.5 million for implementation funding, which is like really not very much. You know, it's really very little. For infrastructure projects, since you can't spend it for planning, it's like, you know, wouldn't do anything. And then for watershed restoration, it dwarfed in significance to the CAL FIRE funding that's come out, to the SMC funding, Prop 68 funding, the greenhouse gas reduction funding. There's a lot of money. And in fact, this is grant season, and it never was before. December and January were always really dead months in the grant world, but something happened this year, and there's a whole bunch of funding that's just coming down right now. And, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna list out the grants that are coming now, and I can send this out to you, Uma. I prepared a list for the SMC staff. I'll also talk to Lynn about this, but the State Water Resources Control Board non-waste sports grant program. So if you've got impaired waters that you want to do projects to clean up, that's one thing, but they also include the timber regulation and forest restoration funding, which is a little bit less directly related to non-point source. Well, it's less related to the 303D list, the impaired water list. So one of the things is, this is 250,000 to 800,000. If you are doing post-fire recovery projects, which I know you guys have, if there are projects that you need to do to prevent sedimentation of waterways or other issues like that, there's no match required. The CAL FIRE grants are up now. The climate change initiative, the greenhouse gas reduction grants. There's the fire prevention grants, which are